Welcome to another video from the Player Profile series from the fanpub.com. I've got Sean with me.
As always, good to be back, and this has been a great series because Al's now got the script in his hand. He is flipping the switch and throwing players at me that he probably wants a bit of information on, and likewise, people are asking what we think of them, really think of them. So let's see who's picking out today.
Well, this player, he's a real conundrum.
You've been talking about some secret weapon up your sleeve. This is a very interesting player, not necessarily that you're picking.
Yeah, no, he's not a secret weapon, but he's somebody that is really hard to predict.
Okay, that sounds good. I like these kind of players.
He's got he's a running back.
Yeah.
It's his second year in the NFL. He hasn't played it down yet. These are your clues.
Yeah.
He's got competition. The player that replaced him last year when he went down had a good year. He's a legend of the game as well.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
He's on a team that their quarterback nearly died last year.
Mm-hmm.
Broke his leg.
Okay, sounds interesting. Keep going. He's liking this.
So he is Derrius Guice.
Well, the problem.
Obviously drafted Bryce Love, but he's probably not going to be one for this year.
Current ADP of Bryce, of this chap is
Derrius Guice is going at 66. He's actually lower than I thought.
Cheekers, 66 for a guy who's never played it down in the NFL.
When you consider fell 12 places, so
when you think that Josh Jacobs is going 43, and this guy's going 66.
Someone's got him as high as 26.
He's coming off quite a serious injury. I mean, 66. How can you possibly put any stock in that? I mean, seriously.
That's what I mean. I don't know. I actually quite like the player, but I don't like the situation. He's off an injury. But they are a team that run the ball quite well. I mean, Adrian Peterson had a great year last year.
Did? Yeah, he did.
But, Peterson's still there. Evergreen Peterson. So
I have to go.
Where do you rate this guy?
I have to go exactly the same as I say with Josh Jacobs. I'm sorry.
Look, he's later than Jacobs.
He is later, but I'm not taking Derrius Guice without any. There's nothing on him. He got injured last year. He potentially was around.
But he could be great.
Could be. He was going in the second round of large leagues last year, so obviously his ADP was warranting that second round pick. We all saw something in him. We all thought he could be good, but he's coming back off quite a serious injury. These injuries will normally require rust. I mean, he's never played yet. So, I mean, it could be 6-8 games before the rust wears off and you get a real feel for what the player's all about.
I mean, the other worrying thing is the quarterback situation.
I agree that ADP at 66 is quite low down in terms of a small league. So, I granted, that could be round 6, 7-ish. You'll have quite a good body of players before you come round to picking him. He could well be your running back 3 or 4. There isn't really any risk at that point. There's an upside. There's very little risk because you can afford a bust here or there. That's okay. But in a large league again, this is just outside round 4. This is the beginning of round 5 kind of player, or just the end of round 4.
In a 16-man league, you go in the first 4 rounds.
Yeah, and that's
just because of the running backs.
And that's the issue immediately for me. So it's an immediate no. I'm not doing it. No, I can't pick a player with no measurables except coming off an injury in those 4 rounds where I need... Look, every mistake is going to hurt me, and it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks potentially of real rust. He's not like he's going to come in and light the league. If he can come in off an injury like this and light the league apart...
Are people going to load the box because of the quarterback situation?
I think they are. I think that's another problem he's going to have to overcome. Absolutely.
I mean, who starts there?
Again...
do they go with Rosen? Do they go with Haskins?
I think Rosen starts, but the problem is that you...
Rosen's at Miami, isn't he?
Yeah.
So they start with Haskins, or they start with Colt McCoy's the other guy, isn't he?
It'll be Colt McCoy potentially, purely because Colt McCoy's been the perennial bench warming quarterback over his career, but has come in to do light relief duty, okay-ish, not amazing. But it's really just he's a pen holder ready for when the people have had enough and say bring in the young guy. And that's going to happen. The trouble is as well, while all this is going on, because that's going to be in the first few weeks, you've got all the rust. So even if Derrius Guice, assuming he's named the starter, absolute starter, he's going to have to come in and then come back from this injury. It's pretty difficult to do. I mean, it really is one of the toughest things to do as a running back, and particularly in the NFL. And the odds actually of re-aggravated injury, because he hasn't played or practiced really fully. I know he is working his way back to fitness, and I mean, when I say practice, I'm talking about the pads on. I'm talking about taking some hits. I'm talking about actual practice, not practicing along the sideline, there's a huge difference once you get the pads on and people start. They're not going to kill you, but they are going to knock heads.
Him and Peterson could be a nice 1-2 punch. They're
They
both
could
quite
be.
powerful.
Yeah, they could. It could be a very nice 1-2 punch, but
The O-line's
I
not
think
bad
you kind of get killed if this is a big league 14, 16-man team and actually one of your very early running backs. That's a big risk. That's an immediate red flag for me. I can't pick a player like this. I can't do it. I just won't let myself get drawn into that kind of. I need a running back. Got to have it. I've got to have the.
What about in a smaller league? Would you?
You can mitigate risk there, yeah, because he's going to be your 4th or 3rd.
Because he could do well.
He could, yeah. I mean, I much prefer other players around him, if I'm honest. But there will be a certain point where the value is too good to not grab. But in the small leagues, that's a bit easy to palatable. It's more
let's
palatable.
just look at the players around him because.
Yeah.
Well, let's concentrate on running backs.
Let's focus on those, yeah.
So you've got. Let's have a look who's around him. So David Montgomery.
I miles prefer David Montgomery.
Really?
Yeah,
Kevin Coleman.
by a mile, David Montgomery, yeah. David Montgomery should be a video for this series, really. He should be. David Montgomery is arguably that ADP is going to climb. I mean, to be honest, he's going to climb. Sorry, what was your next man?
And the next man, Tevin Coleman. So it's sort of crowded backfield in the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, Tevin Coleman is not really, for me, has never really been a true starter, and he's more a complementary back. So, I mean, I think we've seen the ceiling and floor potential. Well, the floor is, if he gets injured, is obviously serious. But Coleman has got a kind of a ceiling that's about 140. It's pretty safe at 140.
Yeah, but you've got Breeder, you've got McKinnon, you've got Mostert.
Yeah, it is, but that's the situation has changed for Coleman, so it's a different time now. So I still see him as a risk. He's not like I prefer. I don't really like either of them at this point in the draft. I probably would swerve past both, if I'm honest.
I don't mind Coleman.
He's all right.
But Evan Ingram around there.
Yeah, that's a no straight away. So no.
Well, there you go.
Any other running backs?
The next guy would be Tarek Cohen, 73.
I prefer
James White.
I prefer Tarek Cohen again. That's to me is
James White.
No. No.
Maybe in PPR leagues.
Not even in PPR this year. No, he's a drop off your radar player for this year. Damian Harris low down is much better value. Ignore White, focus on Harris.
Interesting.
Go after that because that will be useful in PPR.
And then you've got, I mean, they're the ones that are sort. You've got Marvin Jones and Jarvis.
Well,
Landry.
there was already talk about Jones being traded mid-season. That's not exactly exciting, is it?
What do you mean?
That worries me.
What Marvin Jones traded mid-season? What are you on about?
They're talking about trading him mid-season.
Why would they talk about that?
They have. Marvin Jones has already been talking about it, tweeting it actually, that he's likely to be traded.
Marvin Jones himself.
Yeah, he's likely to be traded mid-season.
Why not the start of the season?
I think he's looking for buyers, so he'll probably try and get his stock value up at the beginning of the year and then see where it goes.
Well, they'll be trying to get his value up as well. I guess.
Probably, yeah.
What's Marvin Jones worth?
I don't know actually. I think if he had a good start to the season, he might be worth a second rounder. Maybe.
No chance.
Maybe.
What did AB go for?
Yeah, that's different. It was the end of his career. Marvin might
Marvin
get a
Jones
second.
has never had a career.
He might be worth a second.
Marvin Jones is old and...
I'm saying maybe. I'm not saying definite. I'm saying maybe. Well, that's okay. I mean,
he won't get any more than the fifth or...
Right, then that's fair. Okay, so if you agree he's not worth much, then that's probably what will happen. It will just depend where Marvin Jones ends up if he gets traded or cut.
Yeah.
See what happens. If he goes to a good team, it could be some value. If not, no. But for this guy, I can't buy into that. That ADP is just too high, and there are other players I would much prefer to own on a team.
Okay, here's a different question for you, because this is also interesting.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the number one, Peterson or Derrius Guice? And, or will they share?
I think it's a running back by committee. I think they both share to start the year off.
Obviously, a bit of Chris Thompson as well.
Yeah, and he, and this is where it gets really ugly fast. So again, at that ADP in a large league, what are you buying into? Are you buying into a problem player that you can never ever start? So you look at his stats every week. I mean, a good example is this is what could happen with a Derrius Guice. You have him. You're happy to have him because you believe in him. That's fine. You've got to believe in the player. Always believe. That's one of the keys. I mean, like people always say to me, "How can you be so sure?" And I think this is one thing you actually have to know your own mind. I've learnt this. If you believe in something, you better follow it through, because the moment you deviate or dither is when it costs you the most. Be confident around your picks. So with him, what could happen is very simple. You could start the year, it's a running back by committee. We then start reaching the bye weeks, week 4 or 5. Nothing has improved on that running back committee. Now you need a starter. And you've got to plug him in. Are you confident? You know you're not confident. You're already looking at the waiver wire. You might even be dropping him. I mean, that's the kind of problem you're going to be facing. He could be brilliant. He could.
I mean, the longer the longer it goes on, the more chance of Bryce Love appearing as well
Exactly.
after his injury.
Yeah, and
He'll likely start on PUPIR.
he will do, but 8 or 10 weeks in, maybe he comes back and maybe
he's
there's
more
a
one
question.
for next year, I think, because Peterson will probably be gone. Won't he?
Yeah, Peterson's still got 1 year's worth of value, and although he's a veteran,
So who would you see as a starter, Peterson or Guice, or both?
I think
both.
I can see a running back by committee very quickly here. I don't think that Derrius Guice.
Because they're both quite powerful players.
They are, but it's that classic. You probably can't put them in your starting lineup unless you're desperate. This is the problem. You'll end up with a starting team. And early doors, could you honestly say that you're drafting Derrius Guice as a starter? You're not. You're drafting him as a backup player in what-if situation. And that itself is an issue. So you're drafting a player without a metrics to back up a player who has one, in the hope that if that player drops down or they get a bye week, you can plug him in and play based off no data. You don't even need to be an analyst to work out.
Sixth round.
That's a bit of a risk.
But he could be good.
Could be. But we have nothing to go on.
So I think for this year, you'd just like to watch and see.
I would like to see how this shapes out.
What he can do in the NFL.
It could be that as the season wears along, we could see 6 to 8 weeks in, the rust is off, he looks supreme, and you're thinking, wow, what a player. And if you own him going into the playoff run, that was a great pickup. But you really have had to hold on to him.
But even if you own him, there's still going to be Peterson.
You may well have had to hold on to him
Thompson there.
for 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, we say this about Chubb being a risk, but Derrius Guice is as much a much bigger risk, because at least with Chubb, you know it's running back one numbers.
I mean, are there any Derrius Guice truths about there that can, do you believe in him still?
I mean,
Redskins, do you believe in him?
We did love him coming in, and we did like the potential. We did see him as a great second-round target, but fortunately, and in the kindest way to both of us, before any of us pulled the trigger, he went down injured that year in the preseason. Thank God. Because
not fortunately for him.
Not fortunately for him, but
for
other people who were kind of. I know a lot of experts kind of honing in that was a great second-round pick, and it probably was at the time.
Adrian Peterson had a sneakily good year last year.
Did have a very good year last year.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, he did. He is a unique, elite, special running back who, no matter what his age, defies the odds like Frank Gore. And you can't, until he doesn't play, can't say he can't. Just can't. He's much better value. His ADP is probably worth it.
He's definitely an interesting pick. And
it's a tricky one.
I'm bound to get carried away and pick
you're bound to take him at some point, because you do like your gambler's pick, and I can see you taking a share of him. I could see him being on the board, and then you going, Derrius Guice. And I'd be like, yeah, interesting.
I'm a bit too over fond of running backs. That's the problem. I get carried away.
Well, they are worth having. We all know the value, the premium, because in those large leagues, we know in 14 or 60 man league, depending on what you're drafting. Look, the truth is, in some leagues,
in PPR, less value.
Yeah, in some leagues, obviously home drafts, 14 or 60 man, people draft however they want. But in leagues that have been established for years, the running back premium is so high, often you'll see 24, 25 running backs going off the board in 2 rounds. So imagine what's left after 6 rounds.
It's carnage every year.
So you know that the premium is high. So even Derrius Guice will have a value even higher than that.
I mean, the carnage just puts you in horrible positions you don't want to
really need to know your sleeper running backs if you're going to have a hope to survive with a zero RB strategy.
Where you're looking over at Derrius Guice or somebody else
and hoping, yeah, absolutely. Anyway.
Okay, well that's Derrius Guice. If you've enjoyed the video, please leave it a like and consider subscribing as always.
And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.